The story took place in the village of Ivanovka, which is located deep in the forest zone. The residents of this village were used to the proximity of wildlife and wild animals, but what happened that day was something out of the ordinary. One early morning, a she-bear began banging on the windows of the house of the local forester, Andrei. Her roar was full of bitterness and despair, as if she was begging for help. Andrei, a true professional in his field, was incredibly meticulous in his work and immediately noticed that something unusual was happening. The she-bear, despite her size and strength, was utterly helpless in front of the forester's lodge. Her roar pierced Andrei's heart, and he realized that he had to help the animal. However, he was aware of the risks associated with such situations, so he decided to take his rifle with him just in case. Andrei followed the she-bear, who was rushing through the forest. Her roar turned into quiet, piercing cries of lament. It was such a vivid manifestation of suffering that Andrei had never heard before. As he moved through the forest, Andrei noticed that the sounds were getting closer and closer. And then, finally, a picture that evoked mixed feelings in him at once opened up before him. A bear cub was entangled in a trap that had been set for wild animals. How he got there, Andrei could not understand. The little bear cub was panic-stricken and helpless. Andrei understood that he had to act quickly and decisively. He cautiously approached the bear cub and began to free him from the noose. The bear cub roared in pain, his eyes reflecting fear, but Andrei continued to work on his release. When the bear cub was finally freed, he staggered on weak legs and made plaintive sounds. Andrei realized that the most important thing now was to return him to the she-bear. He found a convenient shelter and carefully placed the bear cub in his coat to keep him warm. Andrei's quiet whisper soothed the little bear on the way back. Realizing that every second counts, Andrei sped up as much as possible to deliver the baby to his she-bear. When they returned to the place where the she-bear was roaring, Andrei carefully placed the baby on the ground. The she-bear immediately ran up to him, making joyful sounds. She touched the bear cub with her huge paws, as if checking him for damage. Watching what was happening, Andrei felt that the joy experienced by the bear family overshadowed everything else. After all, it was thanks to his help that they were able to be together again. From that day on, Andrei became even more imbued with respect and love for wildlife and its inhabitants. He became even more dedicated to his work, trying to protect every animal from danger and misfortune. The story of Andrei and his rescue of the little bear cub became the pride of the village of Ivanovka. The inhabitants realized that even in extremely dangerous situations, when every minute can cost a life, justice and compassion can always prevail. Sometimes all it takes is one caring soul, like Andrei, who decided on a selfless act for the sake of saving another creature.